Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to 31 Days of Beauty. Today we're going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with the Huda Mercury Retrograde. This is one of my favorite palettes in my collection, so I'm super pumped to film this for you guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully it's helpful if you're looking for some inspo with this palette. I will say mine broke, if you guys saw in that video before, so I'll just be popping the shades up in the side for you to see what I'm using, but this is what mine looks like. Very well loved. Definitely something I could use more though. I really love it. If you're new here, hey, my name is Megan. I'm doing 31 days of content, so if you're not already subscribed, please do so you don't miss out on any of it. And of course, if you like this video at any time while watching, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into look number 1. Okay, so my eyes are primed and ready to go. I'm not going to be holding it up and showing you guys the shades that I'm going into because it broke. The clasp over here broke, and this one's like trying to break. So I'm going to keep it down and hopefully keep it together. But this is what my palette looks like. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pans in it. I will insert the shade that I'm using up in the corner so that you guys can still see, because I know I normally pick it up and stuff, but it's just too delicate. And I forget, I was filming a video and showing you guys, and it broke right in the middle of that video. I forget which one it was, but yes, very devastating to say the least. So yeah, we're going to be doing 3 looks. The first one, I want to go into this shade Utopia, and the reason I want to use it is because it's very close to pan, and I really like this shade, so I'm going to go into it first and just start building up that crease. Oh, this color is so pretty. And look how easily and nice that went on. Wow. I literally love Huda's formula. It is so underrated in my opinion. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, either Pat McGrath or Natasha Denona, and I like both of I like Natasha Denona. I don't like Pat McGrath. But I think that Huda should be up there and more talked about as well, because her formula, especially in her bigger palettes, is so freaking good. And I just feel like no one really talks about that. I feel like her 9 pans can be a little hit or miss, but the big ones are always good. So highly, highly recommend. I do have a 3 looks 1 palette up with all of the other larger Huda palettes that I own. I will link those if you guys want to check them out. I'm gonna just use a clean brush to kind of blend the edges a little bit. I was trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to do something like this, or I think I want to use a little bit of the blue and the purple. So I'm gonna go into the haze shade, which I've literally used so much and you can't even tell. And I'm gonna just put that out here in the outer portion, and then I think I'll use the purple some too. This will be my fun bright look. Yeah, that's pretty. So long story, I had this palette and I decluttered it. Then I bought it again. Now it's one of my favorites. But to be fair, I felt like the haze shade in my other one was not good at all. This shade in this one is so much better. But yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite palettes in my collection, to be honest. Like, it is that bitch. Now I'm gonna go into the purple shade Libra, and I'm gonna just put that on my lid here. This is like one of my favorite purple shades ever. It is so pretty. And I love the way that these 3 just like mesh so well together. And with this palette, as you guys will see, because I'm going to try to give you a lot of range, but you can do, you know, a lot of more colorful looks, and you can do some really neutral, tamed down looks. So I'm going to try and give you a little bit of everything, to be honest, which is what I always try to do when I do 3 looks 1 palette. I really just try to showcase the range. I also, you might have noticed, I didn't set my lid. That's because I'm using more pastel shades, and if you want a little better color payoff, don't set the lid. That's just a little hot tip. I'm just going in with a little bit more of that salmony color and blending it out, because it looks a little deeper over there, but well. Now normally, it's like so hard to not pick this up. I normally go in with the Supermoon shade right here, and I am going to, and I'm gonna just tap a little bit of it on this like outer portion right here where the purple and the blue meet, just to give me some nice shine. This shade is literally so gorgeous. And I'm gonna just tap it on everywhere. And I'm just tapping it on super lightly. You can go in with the glitter glue with this and just cake it on, and oh my god, it literally looks stunning. But I really want to maintain the mattes because I think that those are pretty. It's what makes the look. I'm just doing a little extra to give it some shimmer, but I don't want to like overcompensate, you know? So that's why I'm doing it that way. Now I think for a liner, okay, so I'll use this palette for a liner as well, but I'm gonna pop off, clean up, do the rest of my face, and then I'll be back for some finishing touches. Okay guys, so here is the finished look. I really love how it came out. I hope in the close-up you can see the shifts in the Supermoon shade because they're literally so pretty, so sparkly. You get pink, you get purple, like literally gorgeous. I could actually see myself like finishing this shade in the palette. That's how much I love it. I use it almost every time I dip into here. I then used the Vortex shade just on the lower lash line and on the top there to create a wing. And yeah, it's just so fun. Like this, I use a crap out of this spring. Have only used it a handful of times since, but it's one that I love to use in the spring because I just love to reach for these colors. But I definitely need to rotate this palette back in and see if we can't hit that Utopia pan because it's next on my list. But yeah, that is all for look number 1. Let's go ahead and jump into looks 2 and 3. Okay, so here we go. Looks number 2 and 3. My eyes are already primed, ready to go. I think one of them I'm gonna make on the more like neutral side, and then another one I might use some of the shades that I don't use a lot in here. I thought that would be fun. I am gonna go in with the shade Momentum and just lightly set both my eyes with this shade. Since I'm not planning on doing like any pastels, I'm gonna go ahead and just set it. It's so crazy because usually I use like setting shades the most in palettes, but I barely even use this one because I use the lighter colors a lot, so lols. And then I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Crash and just build that up over here on this eye, which these are just, they go on so smooth, so pretty. And this one has like a really nice like purpley taupey kind of undertone going on. really different. Super pretty though. Next, now that we have that going on, I think I'm gonna grab more of like a little bit of a denser brush. And let's go in with the Karma shade. Put that on the outside. It's literally so weird not holding the palette up to show you guys. I'm still like freaking pissed that it's broken. This shade, as you can see, is not like true brown or true neutral. It's like actually pretty warm, pulls a little bit of a pinky peach on my particular skin tones and undertones. So that's like one of those things that like when I first got it, I wasn't really like prepared for. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm going to go in with a Supernova shade, which is so pretty here. And I'm going to just smack this all over the lid. Not going in with any primer or anything. I don't actually plan to wear these looks very long. I have to film some other stuff. And plus I know that like, I love this palette and this formula. So if you want something more impactful, I for sure would go in with the like, you know, glitter glue. That just gives it so much more Shazam. But I think it looks pretty and it's like a nice wash we have going on. And then I will probably, I guess we could kind of do it now. Let me get my pencil brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of the Vortex shade and just kind of, there we go. So I was like, we need a little something out there because I was like, it's just, it was feeling a little too monochromatic for me. Let's see, get this brush out. There we go. And I can add more as well after I clean up the under eye too. But I think once we get everything on and like going, like, I think that it'll look nice. The next shades I want to use are I think I want to use Nebula or Mercury. Those are ones that I have not really used at all since I've gotten this palette. Again, I did have it before and I decluttered it. And those are the shades I had used before, but since bringing it back into my collection, I haven't really used those. So I think I'm going to use the shade Off Balance, and that's the one I'm going to use to build everything up. It's a really pretty pink, which again, it doesn't really look like that in the pan. And that's the thing, I feel like all of these shades in this palette, they look so much different on the eye. And I feel like, well, honestly, I feel like a lot of Huda's palettes are like that. They all guilty of that. But yeah, I really do like the tone of this. Kind of reminds me more of the Rose Quartz tones, honestly. But it's super, super pretty. And then I'm going to take the Vortex shade and I'm going to go in with it pretty intensely on that outer corner, I think, to build up before I go in with the blue. Well, the Nebula shade, which is, if last time I used it, it was like the most stunning shade in the palette. I'm sure that like hasn't really changed, but isn't it interesting how purpley this pulls on top of the pink? Whereas over here we have like a more smoked out, like charcoaly situation. And then over here, it looks like completely different. I am going to use the glitter glue with this one just because it's more like sparkly. I don't want it to fall out everywhere. Whereas the other one is more of like a really soft foiled kind of situation. I'm just going to go in with it with my finger. And I'm going to tap it on. Yep. Still pretty as fuck. should definitely whip this one out. So pretty. Nice. Oh. Yeah, that is just so lovely. And I think I might take a little bit of Super Moon over here on this side just to add a little something. I literally love this shade. I add it to almost every look because it complements everything literally so nice. It is so pretty. But I am going to go ahead and just clean up the under eyes and finish the face. And then I'll be back to show you both of the finished looks. Okay, here is the finished 2 looks with the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. I'll zoom you guys in so that you can see them a little bit closer. I think they are both beautiful looks. For today's vibe, personally, I think I'm feeling this eye just a little bit more just because, I don't know, I will probably actually just take this eye off and pop this over. But yeah, overall, I really do love this palette. As you can tell, you can get a lot of versatility out of it, whether it's a more natural, nudie kind of look or like a more vavoom in your face kind of situation like over here. You really have a lot of room to play with this, which is why I think it's like one of my more used palettes in my collection. I hope, you know, this video was helpful because I had quite a few people request to see it just because they'd said, you know, they're looking for some inspo with it or struggling a little bit with the color story. So I hope that if you were in that boat, this was helpful to you. If you're not in that boat, I just hope that it was entertaining, I guess. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up before you leave, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye!